All right, should be live on YouTube now. Let me make sure. Also, welcome everybody to the Yin Yang Wolf Pack. My name is Will Rios. I am IMC Base 2 leader, attorney in 2 states, Harvard graduate, valedictorian. What else we got? Yeah, those are pretty much the big ones. Oh yeah, black belt in Taekwondo, musician, DJ. What else? There's something else. There's some other shit that I've done that people care about. Oh, so yeah, welcome, man. This has been a very good weekend, very, very fun time. Really, every camp, we have these things called camps, right? And people from all over the world come here to San Jose to come learn from AZD, like the top G. And a lot of the appeal is his ability to communicate and talk to women and make women attracted to him. And he has like something like 5 girlfriends and is talking to something like 5 more. And so he has a lot of experience talking to very beautiful girls. And since I've been here, I've gotten a lot of experience talking to very beautiful girls. And now that I'm doing jujitsu, I'm learning, it's like I'm learning the same art in different ways, right? It's different forms of self-expression. Fighting is an expression, dancing is an expression, talking is an expression. And all of it can be attractive if you know how to do it right. But there are ways that you can do it wrong and it can be very unattractive and it pushes people away from you. And so you should learn the skill of talking. It's so important, man. Like it really is. If you don't know how to fucking talk, like you're fucked, man. You're especially fucked in trying to get girls, like extremely fucked. So what this does, you know, these shows, these parties, these camps, these teachings is like they get you in a state where you get more comfortable. Like let's say, I remember I used to be a saxophone player, and I would play these shows, right? Like I'd play for. It started off, you know, being at school, right? Your little recitals or whatever, these little concerts. But then it started getting big. Then it was like I'm out here performing out in public. Like I would do salsa concerts at like these restaurants. Then I would do like jazz concerts. Then I started like doing, I eventually would say the culmination, dude, I did marching band. Like then it would be like in front of like thousands of people. Then we did these things called salsa congresses, which is like professional dancers come together and they do these things called socials. And so it's like I'm over here playing salsa to like, I don't know, hundreds of people, like all, you know, it's like a fucking sea of people dancing, like professional dancers. And so to do all of that, what did I have to do? A lot of fucking practice. Lot of fucking practice. I remember being a 6th grader in my fucking closet trying to play the saxophone and it couldn't fucking sound right and it pissed me the fuck off. And I was a little 12-year-old and I literally started crying. I'm like crying because I can't make this thing make the noise that I wanted to make. Fast forward 3-4 years later, where I'm fucking playing for thousands of people. Like how did I get there? It started by me fucking being in my closet practicing this shit and then getting good and then getting better and then getting better and then continuously practicing over and over again. And then it was, I'm marching in front of thousands of people. Then it's like I'm flying to New York. And then it's like I'm fucking going everywhere. Why? Because I took the time to develop the skill to the point to where I could perform for people. And then when I got on stage, it's not like I'm just not nervous at all. I'm very nervous. However, my intuition, my practicing, all of the hours put in, they come out. My sensei in karate, he would always say, you know, whenever you're tired or like whenever you're nervous, you fall back on your basics. So what are your basics? Are your basics good technique, basically? Right? So is your technique of talking to women like based on good fundamentals? And this would be fundamentals of game. This would be like your body language. This would be like your tonality. This would be like, what phrases do you use? What stories do you use? Like you, through your life, it's really funny because this didn't really click until probably just around this moment. Throughout your life, you have these stories of things that have happened to you that you've said multiple times, right? There's some story of some shit that happened to you or something that you did, and you have a story, and you said it to multiple different people at multiple different times. Now, without game, it could very well be that this story is making you look like a fucking loser. Oh yeah, this one time these guys, they all beat me up, and then I started crying, and then I ran away, and then I never came back. Like that's a horrible story to be telling all the time. Now, you probably have some good stories of good stuff that happened to you. That time you won the championship, or that time, you I don't know, the time you walked into the club and then everyone loved you. And then if you're a performer or something, like, oh, I performed for these many people, or I did something cool. I did something badass. Now, there's a balance here, right? Because you don't want to be bragging, you don't want to be showing off. But then also, it's way better to fucking brag and show off than it is to say the story about how you were like a fucking loser. So by getting game, you start to understand like what is attractive, what is not attractive. Well, how can you even get to that if you're not even comfortable in the situation that you're in? So all of these things they come together and they start to merge. Being, what are you talking about? Being, how do you look? How about how are you dressed, man? Is how you dress attractive to women? Really think about it. Now, this past weekend, I made a point to have a very good avatar. And so I went out with AZD, we went out to this restaurant, then went to the strip club, and I was wearing this nice tailored suit or fitted suit. I don't know the difference, dude. Fitted or tailored, whichever one, one of those or both, I don't know. They did some shit to where it fit really nicely on me. And that has an effect, right? It has an effect how you look on the woman, on your fucking friends. Like you do not want to be coming out looking like a bum, looking like a weirdo. You want to come out looking like a smooth motherfucker. I was just listening to the song Smooth Operator, Smooth Operator. Like that should be you. You come out, you're like Smooth Operator. That's your vibe, right? You're fucking smooth. You look good. Then with what we do, these parties, you start to get practice. So what if you had just thousands and thousands of hours of practice speaking with hot girls? Now, I don't have thousands, but I could definitely say I have like maybe 100 by being out in the strip club so many times with AZD, by going to all of these parties. Here, I'm gonna show you guys a clip so you can kind of see how this goes. You can see like that. Let's what is his name? All right, so check this out. This was last night. So this is me practicing. Oh, dude, then not to mention when I'm out with Eros in Vegas, like, dude, all of this is practice. Why? So that I'm comfortable when I'm around hot girls. So this is us. That's me. Look at me right there. Wow. Talking to you, girl. That's cool. I hope you guys can see this recently. Dude, man, look how good the guys look. Fuck yeah, man. Those are my bros. They look sick as fuck. I think I'm gonna pop up again right now. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. I'm getting tired of that fucking song. That dun, 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 dun. You know what I just realized that reminded me of is the song by, if you guys are into rock, Bring Me the Horizon. It's Can You Feel My Heart? Dun, 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 dun. That's what that reminds me of. But it's like a fucking Portuguese version of that. Some Portuguese, I don't know, EDM version, I guess you could say. Okay, so That was me. That I logged 4 hours last night of talking to pretty girls. When I was in Vegas, we would go, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 times. Well, every time I'm there. So in those are 4 hours each, right? So it's like I would say that's like 16 hours every time I go to Vegas. Then every Saturday I go to the strip club with AZD, like 4 hours. I'm logging this time. I'm getting this practice into where I look comfortable when I'm talking to girls. Then I learn game, and I know stories. I know when to neg. I know how to DHV. These are all technical terms, right? DHV is demonstration of higher value. Neg is to disqualify oneself as a potential suitor to the girl. Now, because of all of this experience, I go out and I look very comfortable. I know that I look comfortable, and I'm only getting more and more comfortable because I'm only doing it more and more and more. So, all right, let's get into I say all of that to say, get your ass here so that you can practice this shit, so that you can get good, so that you can stop looking like a weirdo, so that you can stop saying weird shit, so that you can really start to play the game. Okay? So come to base 2, come to the parties, come hang out with us. We'll show you what the fuck is up, man. We'll show you what's up. Bro, all right, let's see. Ideally, I don't want to go too long today because I have some stuff I need to do. So we'll probably go for like 15 minutes more, and then I might open up for questions. So let's see. Okay, so yesterday I got 2 Instagrams. So let me see if I'll show you. And I feel like it'd be weird. This one is like public and on YouTube or whatever. But anyways, I got 2 of the models' Instagrams. One of them was an Asian girl. One of them was a Ukrainian girl. Very interesting. And by the end of it, all right, I'll save the best one for last. By the end of it, basically all the girls had left, and one of them was just like, they're stuck with me for a while. Like all the guys were like in the other room, like talking or whatever, and it was me and this chick still there. Why? Because I had enthralled her in my story, and she just like would not. She was just stuck. Like, have you ever spoken with a woman to where like her eyes are like that? Like she like. I experienced that again last night, and again I experienced that because I fucking know game, dude. I know how to talk. And then that is part of it, but then there's also the elements of really seeing the other person and seeing what they like and diving into that. And I did that like a motherfucker with this girl. But okay, so that was one set. I want to talk. There were 2 other sets that I want to talk about. So one was the Asian girl. Let's talk about her. So I spoke with her twice. The first, there were 2 topics that were said that I spoke with her about. So what was the first one? What were we talking? Well, she said, what was your favorite, or the topic was, what is your ideal Friday or Saturday night? And I was sitting on that couch, and she said her favorite Saturday or Friday night would be like staying home cooking for her dogs. And I was like, oh man, this is a cat lady, except it's a dog lady. And so, it was cute or whatever she was saying, but it really wasn't about what she was saying. What it was about the energy. And the energy was that she was very playful. She's a cute little Asian girl. And by the end of it, she was like showing me videos of her modeling. She was like, what the word would be is qualification. She's qualifying herself. She's like, look what I do. I do this, I do that. I've been here, I've been there. She was like showing me videos of her fucking Hawaii and videos of her doing some like pageant or whatever. And what you have to realize about these girls is that, bro, they're all insecure, man. As hot as this girl may be, she is insecure as fuck. She was like talking about how some other girl had like big boobs and big ass, and she was like slim or whatever. And she was like, I don't need to, have a blah, blah, blah. I don't need a big butt. I don't need I can still be a model. Like, look what I do. Look what I do here. And honestly, she was a cute girl, but she didn't have a fucking big ass. She didn't have big boobs. But, throughout this, she starts to, she wants to be cool, right? Just like you want to be a badass. She wants to be pretty. She wants to be a pretty girl. She wants to be appreciated for her beauty. Oh, Tony. She doesn't want to feel lesser than someone else, right? And so if you can properly make a girl feel very pretty, without being beta, without being a little bitch, then you have your hands on something. Like they're a sucker for words, dude. They really are. And if you know how to talk to them right, then they'll fall into it. They'll fall into your world because they want to fall into that world where they're like the hottest girl ever. And what was really funny is that later on I spoke with her again, and this time she came like confrontational almost. And she was like, so how many girlfriends do you have? And I was like, 2. And then she was like a little surprised, but like not really, because she knows that we all like have multiple girls. And so she was like, oh, well, I couldn't be with a guy that, oh no, she was like, oh, okay, so how come you can your girl be with other guys? And I'm like, no. And she's like, that's so unfair. Why can't she be with other guys if she wants to be with other guys? It's like, well, she can be with other guys, but she's not going to be my woman. She's just not going to be with me. And she's like, well, what if she wants to be with other guys? I said, she could be with other guys. That's fine. But then, but she's just not going to be with me. She's like, why? That's so unfair. And I was like, why is that unfair? She's like, because you can do it and she can't. And I'm like, well, because I'm a man and she's a woman. And then I whoop, here's the fucking, we play Uno sometimes. Like, here's the Uno reverse, bitch. Okay. Do you want to be with multiple men? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, there you go. Good. You shouldn't. Women don't want to be with multiple men. And she's like, yeah, but she should be able to. Well, she can, but she's just not going to be mine. And so we were in this whole thing, but the whole vibe was, I remember specifically, I was leaning back and I was just kind of like trying to hear her out. I was like, yeah, but it's like, it's not like that. Like, do you want to be with multiple men? No. Okay, then don't. Because that's not natural for you. That's not what you want. You're a woman. You have one egg at a time. You can be pregnant only once at a time. Me, I produce billions of fucking sperm every day, every time. I could literally go populate the entire planet like today. If I had the time, I could literally populate it, all these hoes. Like that's how it could be. You can have one pregnancy at a time. And so by virtue of God's decree or nature, whatever the fuck, the universe, like, you were made differently than me. And so your needs are not my needs. And my desires are not your desires. And we're just different. That's what it is. And that's how God set it up. So what's fucked up is when people lie. It's when you lie about what you want and when you lie about what you do. I don't fucking lie. I don't need to lie. What the fuck? I can just be honest. I can just tell the truth. And by doing that, like I could just see, like, I was not breaking. My frame was not breaking. And little by little, she was like, shh, becoming a little girl again. She was becoming cute again. And then that's when she was like, oh, do you have an Instagram? Here, I'll follow you. Oh, you should text me, blah, blah, blah. Like, bitch, you were talking about how you could never be with a guy that dates multiple women, but you're still like over here just like all over me. Why? Because I know how to speak. I was very logical, but I wasn't fighting her. That's where you fuck up. You don't fight the girl. I'm just like explaining, like, yeah, but it's not like that. It's not like that for you. Why would you want to do that? I was very soft. I became like rubber and glue or whatever. It's like, I'm rubber, she's glue. It was like, boom, it bounces off and then it gets back to her. And boom, then back to her. So that was one of the sets that went really well. There was another one. Dude, this was a great question. AZD asked, were you sex? What's good sex? What's bad sex? What was the best sex you had? What was the worst sex you had? Blah, blah, blah. So I asked the girl, what is good sex to you? And she was like, it starts off really slow and sensual, and then it builds up. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah. And I was like, okay, so like how? Like foreplay? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, she started saying, so, like when they touch you really soft. And I was like, okay, how? And then she like put her hand right here and she started doing this thing really softly. And it was honestly kind of like turning me on. I was like, oh shit, okay. And it was very soft and very smooth. And I was like, wow. And she's like, yeah. And then, you go to the neck and then you start going down. And I was like, man, dude, I was like, okay. Like, yeah, keep talking. What else? What else do you like? And then she started talking about like, then it got into like, what positions she likes. Sometimes I like doggy, sometimes I like missionary, sometimes I like cowgirl, sometimes I like to use like I was like, then me, because I'm aware that girls like the shit. I was like, do you like to be tied up? She's like, yeah. She was like, yeah, like I like to be hog tied. I like to be like, tied behind my back. And so years ago, I would be very uncomfortable with this talk, with these words, like the idea of tying a girl up or like hitting a girl or like choking her. Bro, this shit is attractive to women. So I'm telling you, as this is me talking to past me. So I'm assuming you're like past me who didn't really understand the shit. That shit is sexy to them. They like that. Give me a second. So even if you're not really into that shit, learn to talk about it, learn to be into it for the sake of the seduction, dude. You're an artist. You're a fisherman. You have to put the right bait. You have to whoop. If the fish don't like your bait, then what the fuck? They're not gonna bite. They're not gonna bite your hook, right? So have the right bait, and this is a huge bait, bro. Like you would never. Bitches love 50 Shades of Grey. Did you know that evolved out of Twilight? You should watch Twilight. You should watch 50 Shades of Grey. You should read the book. Read 50 Shades of Grey. Don't read Twilight. But you'll start to see that there are certain buttons that you can. There's certain buttons that you can hit. You can tick. And the one of like BDSM, domination, tying them up, they love that shit, man. So learn about that. Get good with that. Now, personally, I really haven't even done it that much, but I've done it enough times to where I can talk about it. I can say, yeah, this one time I tied my girl up and fucking bent her over the dresser, or like in the fucking restroom, and like shoot like toys and stuff like that. Like be comfortable talking about that. Okay. So that's true. That would be that girl. All right. I'm gonna talk about now. Let's talk about the best one. The best set I had was with this this Ukrainian chick who I spoke with her twice. And the first one actually was shit. I actually did not like how I did that first set, because the question was about vacations, and it did not inspire me at all. I didn't care for it. I was like, oh, like, how do I keep this conversation going? I don't care about this shit. She was like, I'll go to Hawaii and I want to do something thrilling, and I want to go paragliding and snorkeling and scuba diving and hiking and going onto the mountains. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, that's cool, but I don't give a fuck about that shit. Okay, I like Hawaii. For me, I'm simple, bro. I just want to be on the beach, eating, drinking, being on the beach, listen to the waves, looking at the sunrise, the sunset, looking at the moon and shit. I like that shit. I'm simple. I don't need to be doing all this wild, crazy shit. I've gone parasailing. That was fun. And jet skis are cool. I could have made it interesting for me, but it just, in the moment, I didn't give a fuck. But let's see, later, we started, Gio mentioned to me, my roommate, that sounds gay. My brother who lives here with me, he had also spoken with her, and he said that she was a witch. I was like, what? Okay, cool. Good to know. And she was giving me proximity. Proximity is when a girl is like standing near you because she wants you to open her. Now, you have to be able to see that indication. So she was giving me proximity, and then I don't even recall what I said to open her. What did I say? I probably talked about her nails or something. I don't know. I started talking to her, and then I go into the ring routine. Now, if you don't know the ring routine, Google that shit. It hits so well every time, because what it does is it wraps her in a story, and it allows you the chance to do Kino escalation, which is when you touch the girl. So I'm over here, I fucking grab her hand, and I'm like, here, did you know that each of these fingers represents a different god? She's like, what? Yeah, here, let me see your hand. Boom. I turn to her, I grab her hand. I'm touching her. Oh, yeah, this one represents this is blah, blah, blah. And I do the whole story. I do the whole gambit. And as I'm doing all of that, she gets like more into it. She's like, oh yeah, and what does that one do? And what is that one? And what is that one? And the last one she asked about was, oh, this is a good neg that I shot out. She kept asking for more and more and more. And by the end of it, I was like, what the fuck am I, an encyclopedia? Like, I'm gonna start charging you. You know, I'm an attorney, right? I charge per hour. So this has been like 30 minutes now. I'm over here explaining this shit to you. You're gonna have to pay. And she was loving that shit. So that is a neg. So with the last one we got to was Mars, which is your pinky ring, or Aries. Mars and Aries are, one is Greek, one is Roman. I don't fucking remember. So this one is Aries. So we go in, then the next set starts, but I was already with her. So we sit down and I tell her, you know, like this is Aries, they're like gangsters, right? They fight people. They're very protective of their area. That's what gangsters are. That's why gangsters wear big ass pinky rings. But also they're good at keeping secrets, right? They go to jail, they shut the fuck up, they don't snitch. That is where the pinky promise came from. And then I'd be like, put my pinky up like that to see if she would comply, and she did. She approved, locked it right here. And then I was like, so you have to make me a pinky promise that you're not going to tell anybody everything I just told you, because it's very occult knowledge. And then I said me saying the word occult like lit her up. And then I was like, oh yeah, Gio had said she was a witch. I was like, all right, cool. Now I see that this is a trigger. Like this is a great topic of conversation for her. Me as a seducer, I need to know what she likes. She likes occult shit. She's a witch. She likes energy and fucking angels and demons and all of that shit. I like it. Like I know about it and stuff. So I know enough to talk about it to entice her. So we sit down and it was an open topic. And the topic, she asked me, so why'd you get into the law? And I gave her an answer, which is kind of true, kind of not true. But it doesn't matter because it's about the fucking game. And I told her, I got into law because there's actually so much occult inside the law. There's so much occult knowledge embedded within the law. I was like, you know, judges, they come out in black robes. Why do they come out in black robes? Why are they on an altar elevated above you? Did you know that the color black represents Saturn? Did you know that Saturn is what's the word? Exemplified, honored, exalted. Saturn is exalted in Libra. You know the sign of Libra is the scales of justice. You know how justice is blind, right? You've seen the statue of justice with the scales and she's blind. All of that is occult symbolism. Saturn is the king of the law. Saturn is father time. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just going into all of this shit. Like right now, I'm actually explaining it to you guys because I think it's like cool knowledge to know. But I'm just like, yeah, did you know that? It's like, and did you know that? Did you know that? And as I'm talking about this, she's just like, what the? Oh, shit. And then I was like, did you know that? Like, the law, all law is casting spells. The Constitution of the United States is a spell book. The laws of California are just spells. They're spells that are used to tell you what the fuck to do, to keep you in line. They're spells that have been cast on you. You know, when you get jailed, you get sentenced and you get charged. Like I'm just like, boo, boo, boo. I'm knocking her left and right with all this fucking shit. And she was just loving it, man. She was like, then she started getting into the story, like, oh, my dad, he like taught me this. We would draw this stuff like these angels, these demons, and like the candle magic and all of this shit, man. I don't fucking care. All I care is that this conversation is emotionally charged and it's making her, she's feeling shit, right? That's all that fucking matters, is that you're hitting them on an emotional level to where they are, boom, they're anchored. Speaking of anchoring, so that was the set during the that was like during the party. Then the party was over. And I was like, dude, I did so much with this fucking girl. I had all this fucking keynote. I should just keep it going just for the sake of keeping it going because it went so well. So I was standing up and I took pictures with her. I'm not going to show the pictures. And then I brought her in and then I sat down. I was like, I should isolate. So I sat down, boom, had her sit there next to me. She crossed her legs away from me. And then I told her to switch. I was like, switch, that's bad body language. And she's like, oh, why? And I was like, I'll explain later. Just switch it. And she fucking did. So all of these little compliances, she's doing them. Why? Because she's so engrossed in the story and engulfed in what's going on that she'll do what I say. And that's how it should be with you. She should be so fucking in love, so attracted that what you say goes. Like, yes, my king. Yes, of course. Yes. Whatever you want. And you will get that if you're able to shoot enough value and attraction, then you will create that in the woman. Now you have to know that that is available. If you haven't experienced that, then you don't know that. But I'm telling you that that is available as an experience for you to have, right? Fucking the girls calling you my king, my lord, my savior, my hero, like all that shit. That is available to you. You can do that. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else from there that I want to talk about. I don't think so. I think that was mostly it. Yeah, because I would want to do it on one of the private Zooms. So if you guys are not aware, I have a private Telegram group of men only where I go, like, this is just the surface, man. Like, if you really want to go deep into like game and picking up and figure out what the fuck women like, then join the Telegram group and you'll start getting hit with like the real shit. And then I'll show you the pictures, I'll show you the text. Like, okay, this is what I said, this is what she said, this is all of that. So you can learn all of that by coming around, being at base 2, join the Telegram. Like, that's the first step. Join the Telegram, starts to see what the fuck is going on, and then you develop, and then you can really practice. Then you can really learn game. Then we can go through openers, negs, DHVs, all of that good shit. Okay, that was fun. And thank you everybody for tuning in. This was the IMC Yin Yang Wolfpack live on